Bien, bonsoir à tous. Bienvenue dans ce webinaire dédié au programme de Bachelor international de l'INSA de Lyon. Bachelor international dont les spécialités sont mécanique, matériaux et aéronautique. Euh, le Bachelor étant international et compte tenu de l'auditoire que l'on pressent, nous allons basculer sur une présentation en anglais, mais il y aura toujours la possibilité de répondre à des questions en français si le besoin s'en fait sentir. So good evening and welcome to this specific webinar dedicated to the International Bachelor's Program in Mechanical Materials and Aerospace Engineering. My name is Philip Vedex. I'm a professor of mechanical engineering and I'm the director of this program. So what we will try to do during this seminar, first of all, present the organization and specificities of the program, say a few words about the admission process, which I think is interesting in this particular context. We'll talk about the profiles of our students. You can't see them, but I'm surrounded by a group of students from the first and the third year of the program. And they will come, they will take the floor for a few minutes and introduce themselves, where they come from, why they decided to choose this program, and what their expectations, what are the expectations for the future. We'll also talk about the possibilities of studies or jobs afterwards. And then we'll finish by 3 questions, and we'll try to answer. When I say we, it's just myself, and the students will contribute as well, hopefully. So I mentioned students. So this is the photo of this year's cohort. We can feel that there is a huge diversity of origin of students, which is confirmed by our statistics. We'll see some stats later. We have a significant number of female students as well, so it's reasonably well balanced. Interestingly, we have, according to my calculations, more than 35 different nationalities represented in this 24-25 cohort. So the specificities, the outline of the program. First of all, the program was created in 2016, and at the time it was the first international bachelor's program in engineering universities in France. It's entirely taught in English, which is in itself not an anomaly, but a singularity in the French landscape for higher education. The program is a free undergrad program that delivers 180 ECTS, and it's run in partnership with ECAM Lyon, which is another engineering universities in the same city of Lyon. We are based in Lyon. And more original, several universities in Europe, including the University of Strathclyde, the University of Twente, which is in the Netherlands. Strathclyde is in Glasgow, Scotland, and the Czech Technical University of Prague. This program has been accredited in 2021 by the French Commission des titres d'ingénieur to award the French National Grade Licence, which is a sign of recognition for this program. In terms of pedagogy, what we try to do is to take the best of 2 different worlds, let's say the Anglo-Saxon word and the French word for engineering. So we try to put emphasis on team and project work. And that's more French, the internship in industries are obligatory. All of our students have to spend a minimum of 22 weeks in industry if they want to get their degree. So concerning the requirements for our students, the linguistic requirements, we expect all our students, we want all our students to be fluent in English. And proof of proficiency at level C1 is required, and this by using external test results, not just a letter from an English teacher, for example. So you have to use TOEFL, IELTS. But if you're a native speaker, obviously you don't have to prove this. And for the IB students studying in English, here again, they don't have to show a test result. If they have a test result, that's just as well, but it's not an obligation for them. Concerning the academic requirements, as you can read here on the screen, we have a huge diversity of origin, so it's not possible to cover all the possibilities in one slide, but the major courses that we have students coming from these programs, A levels, which is the British system. So the minimum requirement, 2 A's and a B, A in maths, A in physics, B in any other third subject. The international bac, a minimum of 32 points with maths at higher level 5 and physics at higher level 5. And for the French bac, maths and physics above 30. Okay, advanced maths spécialité, maths expert is not required. It's not necessary, but it's could be a plus. So basically, we're looking for profiles of students who are good, very good in maths, physics, chemistry, design. And we put all these students in the same group and try to harmonize, make sure that the transitions are not too complicated for these students from different origins. Now, concerning the facts and figures, it's quite clear that the program is not free. Students or more likely their parents have to pay annual tuition fees of 7,300 euros. In terms of numbers, again, we feel that 2 groups, 45 students maximum, is really the maximum of what we can do, 45 students per year. We have 80% of our students who are not French. And as I already said, 35 plus different nationalities represented. We had 69 nationalities represented since the creation of the program in 2016. Now, in terms of organization and what we try to do from a pedagogical point of view, so here is a simplified timetable for year 1. Year 1 is a year of transition, especially semester 1. As you understand, having people coming from so different backgrounds, it's not necessarily easy to adjust to a sort of common course for all the students. So the first semester of transitions, you can see that we teach maths for engineering. That's important to emphasize that the maths program in this bachelor's program is not pure maths, it's maths for engineering. In other words, we don't spend hours on proofs, but we try to use the mathematical tools for engineering purposes. Electrical engineering, materials, mechanics, and mechanical design, these are the science subjects in the first semester. All our students have 6 hours of humanities per week, and the 6 hours they depend on their profile. For the students who don't speak a word of French, there is no French requirement in terms of level. You don't have to speak French. These students, they do 6 hours of French as a foreign language per week. And the other students, depending if they are French speakers, then they will do another foreign language. They will do non-scientific options, and they will practice sport. Sport is almost obligatory in the program. It's a very strong possibility, recommended possibility. And it depends, as you understand, on the level of French. From the start of this first semester. The first week is an intensive week on communication, professional communication, which is also a way to try to make the group gel, and so that people, ice-breaking activities and communication with new products. So there's a touch of innovation in this first week. The second semester, you see, you have this series of subjects there, but in between semester 1 and semester 2, students have 2 weeks which are entirely dedicated to what we call transversal projects. So rather than long explanations, I'm going to introduce some of the students, the first 2 students. These 2 weeks are in January. They've just finished their transversal project, and some of them will come here and talk a little bit about themselves and the projects, so that we can have information concerning the origin of our students, but also the type of projects that we can offer in this program. So the first student is Elisa from Mexico.
Hi, I am Elisa Cerón. I am from Mexico. I am 18 years old, and this is the project that I made for the transversal project. It's a contra-rotating propeller that makes an aircraft more efficient.
And it works?
It works. It works using a planetary system, as seen here.
Okay. So you're from Mexico. We have a second project. Julia from Italy.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julia from Italy. I was born and have always lived there. In September, I came here because I was very interested in this project, and here I am. This is my transversal project that we finished a couple of weeks ago. Surprisingly, it works as well with a toroidal gear on the bottom. We managed to separate both of the axes of motion. And I can definitely state that it was an enriching project. I was looking for practical aspects in this university, and this was definitely one of the main reasons I chose this program.
Okay. Alex.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Matthews. I'm from Zimbabwe. Our project here is a vertical axis wind turbine. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it has a system which varies the pitch of each propeller so to make it more efficient in the wind. Just like that. We had quite a lot of trouble coming up with a system that actually moves each propeller independently so that it is at the right position to absorb the most wind energy possible. But it was a very enriching project as well, where we got to learn skills like 3D printing and laser cutting, and overly quite enjoyable as well. Yeah,
thank you. Could say a few words about why you came here.
I chose INSA because it gave me a cool opportunity to come and study in Europe. I originally studied in Stellenbosch in South Africa, but this course offered me a chance to start in Europe with a very practical aspect to it, where there's a lot of hands-on work and plenty of opportunities after this course as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so there's just an insight into the type of projects. Basically, the students, they have to analyze, design, manufacture, and make sure it works. The prototypes are effective. I will go back. We will have some of the students coming afterwards. So it was between semester 1 and semester 2. So semester 2, you can see the list of classes. It's not terribly interesting to explain everything, but we have a box which is in green, thermodynamics, which corresponds to a module that is taught in one of the partner universities we mentioned in the first or second slide, which is ECAM Lyon. So our students, they have to get up early, and they move to ECAM Lyon, which is a couple of kilometers from the campus of INSA, still in the same city, but a little distance from there. And they're mixed up with ECAM Lyon students, and they have to validate this module. At the end of the first year, all our students have to do a 1-month internship in a blue-collar position. We feel it's extremely interesting for our students to have a real knowledge what it's like to be a basic worker on a production line. And maybe we have students who did first year internship in this situation. Maybe Sebastian, if you I would want to take him by surprise, but seem to recall that you had an interesting experience.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sebastian. I'm French, and I'm a third-year student here in the IBMMA program. And so for my first-year internship, I had the opportunity to work on a car production line for Stellantis. So I worked for a bit more than a month assembling cars in a very specific environment. I got to discover the processes that work on a production line, was my first experience in industry as well. So got to discover the environment in a company and yeah, really got to see the other side that you wouldn't see as much if you only had the opportunity to work in offices. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah. So moving on to the second year, which is a very specific year in our program. Mentioned several partner universities previously. So the second year, the first semester of the second year, semester 3, is very much in the continuation of the semester 1 and 2. Maths for engineering still, and then 2 modules taught at ECAM, mechanics and manufacturing production. So you can see that we are more and more mechanical engineering oriented, let's say, less generalistic maybe. Still humanities, 6 hours a week. But the very important point is semester 4, where all the students in the bachelor's program have to spend the semester abroad, either at the University of Strathclyde or the University of Twente, or that's a new destination that should start as of 2026 next year, the Technical University in Prague. We had the chance to have students who did all these different paths. Clément went to Twente, and maybe he's going to explain a little bit.
Good evening. My name is Clement, and I'm Kenyan. For my exchange semester, I chose the University of Twente because I saw that their courses aligned well with my future aspirations. So it was a really good decision. We were able to use their state-of-art facilities, which actually some of them were used in designing some really complex systems that are used in Netherlands. I also got the chance of exploring the Dutch culture because I had never set foot in the Netherlands before. I would say that it's a really great university, and it really prepares you for both industrial or research, depending on what you'd like to do after your bachelor's.
Okay, thank you. So now representative of the Strathclyde batch with Lucia.
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Lucia. So I'm Australian and Maltese, and I grew up in Australia and New Zealand. So yes, I went to Strathclyde University, and this is a great option if you're more interested in the aerospace side. We did a lot of aerospace specific classes like flight and space flight, which were really interesting because you got to apply a lot of your knowledge that you've built up in an aerospace section. So I really enjoyed that. And also being at Strathclyde, you got to discover the UK, you got to meet British people, British food. And yeah, that was really exciting as well.
Okay, thank you. I think we already have a question about these universities, if it's part of the Erasmus scheme. Is that correct? It's independent. That's a specific agreement that we have with these three universities, which is especially and only for this bachelor's program. We'll go back to the administrative side and financial side of things later on if you want, but this is not part of the Erasmus exchange. And these are so far the only possibilities. It's already rather complicated to choose between three different destinations. I mean, in terms of thematics, Strathclyde is more aerospace. Twente is fluid mechanics and mechatronics. They have a big project in fluid mechanics and a big project in mechatronics. And finally, Prague is more in production and system control. Moving on to the final year 3 for the program. So as we have students moving to 2 or 3 different universities for their semester 4, semester 5 has been adapted in order to compensate, should I say, or also streamline the students a little bit, depending if they were in Strathclyde or Twente in the previous semester. So, for example, those who are at Strathclyde, they don't do control engineering and heat transfer because they did it at the University of Twente. I mentioned Strathclyde, it was Twente. Those who went to Strathclyde, Twente did atmospheric flight, which was not covered, but students moving to Strathclyde did. So we tried to balance the subjects so that everybody has more or less the same bulk of competencies, let's say. We still have units or modules taught at ECAM, which are in green, heat transfer and propulsion. And then we have, as you can read, modules on transducers and measurements, machine elements, where we worked a little bit on mechanical transmissions, gears, rolling element bearings, finite elements. And there are 2 important characteristics in the year 3. The final project, we have a project covering almost the entire year from October to March. Which we'll talk about the type of projects in a minute. And the semester 6, half of it is dedicated to a final internship of 4 months. And maybe Sophia can say a few words about this final internship, because I think she had a rather unique opportunity.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sophia. I'm a 3rd-year bachelor student. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my background, why I chose to study in France, and what I like about it. So starting off, I studied high school in the US. I graduated high school during the peak of COVID, and I was only 16, so I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. All I knew is that I really liked helping the environment and engineering, so I wanted to combine those 2 things and decided on aerospace engineering, which might seem a little bit strange, like why didn't I do environmental engineering? Well, I figured that aerospace engineering is one of the areas that we can make the biggest change in developing greener technologies. And as for why I chose to study in France, sure, it's a lot more affordable than the US, but the main thing is that the programs and the education systems are a lot better and more specialized. I also wanted to experience a different culture. And some of the things I really like about living here in Lyon are all of the nature, all of the great food, especially the campus. I really love it here. The dorms are nice, very cozy. It's super easy to get around the city with the public transportation. And I've had the opportunity to travel all across Europe because it's really easy to just take a train any weekend, go somewhere. So it's definitely my favorite city in the world. And then as for my internship, we're required to do one in our third year. And this was the most rewarding part of the journey so far. I got an internship at NASA, well, actually two. And I was working on a hybrid electric aircraft concept, which is in part of an effort to reduce emissions in the aviation industry. And then I did a second internship and took a gap year to do those. And I feel like INSA really prepared me for those internships. We get a lot of support here from the teachers, especially Mr. Velix. He helped me a lot. And I feel like the classes are more close-knit than a traditional university. Like there's not hundreds of students in a giant lecture hall. There's more like 20 to 30 students per class. And we're all very close-knit. And coming from the US system, it was definitely very challenging at first. There's a learning curve coming from the US to France, but the teachers are excellent and they helped me get used to it, get acclimated, and now I'm doing a lot better. But in conclusion, I can't recommend the program enough. It's been one of the best decisions I've made. And I'm really excited about the final project I'm working on right now. It's a small electric rocket model. So that's been really cool too. But thank you and good luck.
Yes, Sophia. So as we're talking about the third year and the beginning of the semester 6, maybe we could have the opinion of Anusha. Anusha can also talk a little bit about the initiatives that the students can take and have, such as winning awards in competitions, organizing conferences and stuff like that. So, Anusha.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anusha. I'm from India, but I've lived most of my life abroad. And I chose this program because it was one of the only English taught programs in Europe. And I really wanted to come to Europe to pursue my bachelor's. And France seemed like a really good option, especially considering the fact that it is the hub of aerospace. And we have a lot of aerospace companies here. And I can't say this enough, but it was one of the best decisions that I made because I truly enjoy the program. And like Sophia said earlier, it has a very personalized approach and all the professors are very approachable and we're a very close-knit community. So it makes the whole experience a lot better. As for the initiatives that Professor Velix mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders of a student association called INSA Lyon, which stands for the European Association of Aerospace Students. And we started the Lyon chapter of that. And we belong to one of 42 other local groups situated across Europe. And we're basically an association of aerospace enthusiasts, so students in aerospace and mechanical engineering from across the continent that come together to bridge the gap between students and industry and to facilitate opportunities for students. And it was a great decision to be a part of this because I've gained a lot of opportunities through Eurovia. One of which was partaking in the Innovero competition. The Innovero competition was a competition hosted by Lufthansa Technik. And the topic was that we need to find sensor-based solutions to counteract the effects of contrails formed by aircraft, because this leads to the formation of certain types of clouds, which cause global warming and increase the temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. So myself and a few of my colleagues took part in this competition, and with the support from one of our professors, Ms. Latifa, who teaches the transducers and sensors module that Professor Velix mentioned earlier, we were able to gain third place overall in the competition. And it was a competition that had teams from all over the world. And we were invited to Hamburg to present our idea by Lufthansa Technique. And it was a wonderful opportunity. Euravia is also hosting a conference, which is called the EMEAC, which stands for the Electoral Meeting of the Euravia Congress, which will happen in March on the INSA campus, where we invite about 60 participants from across Europe to participate in deciding the future of Euravia International. And so they will all come together and we will have company visits and things like that. And they will pave the way for the future of aviation. That's it.
Okay. Okay, something also rather specific in semester 6 is students will enjoy an intensive week on flight mechanics taught by professors from the University of Twente. We're going to come here for 4 or 5 days, and we'll have developed a particular pedagogy, which is usually a great success. So projects, we already talked a lot about that. I mean, we have these 2-week intensive transversal project. Okay, you said radar, but you didn't see the landing gear system, the air brake, the torque wrench, the mechanics al dente, which is a way to introduce rupture mechanics to students using pasta or spaghetti. We have projects, we mentioned that, over the third year, from September to end of March, because after March, students, they go and do their internship, final internship. So we have every year something different. From the top of my head, so this year we have, Sophia mentioned something about electric rocket. Sebastian, you work on CFD analysis. Okay, CFD analysis of injector, rocket injector. And Anusha, you work on okay. So we have these projects and something else, which is, I think, rather original. We have smaller projects in a number of subjects. For example, in Mechanics 2, which is dynamics, students will have a mini projects on how to design and analyze oscillators. And they will analyze, design, manufacture, compare the prediction with the experimental results. They'll do more or less the same in kinematics of systems, where they will have to design motion transformers and be able to predict the link between the input and output of the system, which are not obvious, build them, measure the displacement, compare with, or the velocities, and compare with the theoretical prediction. So we have several projects in different modules. Now, concerning the students, we have statistics over the period 2016-2024, and the larger population is the French population, but as you can see, it represents only 20% of the population. The second one is India, and then it drops rapidly: USA, Russia, Indonesia, China, Egypt. This to say that if you remember the number of nationalities, we have people a little bit from everywhere. We have 1 Brazilian student in the first year this year. We have a student coming from Bangladesh. We have, but in terms of numbers, okay, the French delegation is the largest, but it's still a minority. There are 2 students here, haven't contacted yet. We may start with a French representative, with Andre. It's not exactly French, but
hello everyone. My name is Andre Fourcade, and I'm a first-year student at this international program. And I did my high school in France. I chose this program because first of all, I really like engineering and physics, and this program also I forgot to mention. So I did it in my high school in France, but I was born in the United States, and I lived 13 years of my life in the United States. So when I came here, I did part of my middle school, my high school in France. When I was looking for universities, I was looking in a way I was looking for a university that would help me go back to an English speaking environment, and what better way to do so than also to stay in France, continue also alongside perhaps to speak some French, and also learn engineering. So yeah, I really like this program at the moment. I will really like it. Yeah, this program has yeah, I really like this program. It's the international aspect to this program. I did not expect it to be this to this extent, but I have really come to enjoy it. Meeting many different people from around the world with a lot of different international backgrounds, not only from people from there was Mexico, China, India, Australia, Zimbabwe, the US. Have some people talk to the US. So yeah, the UK also, yeah. Switzerland, Italy, Spain. So yeah, I really enjoy this right at the moment. I really enjoy, and it's very fun.
Great. Now coming from a tiny island, we have Joel.
Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Joel. I'm from Sri Lanka, as Professor Bellex already said. I studied the Cambridge International A-level curriculum, and I chose INSA Lyon because, of course, it's a very well-reputed university with plenty of opportunities and facilities, particularly for international students. It's a lovely place. And why did I choose the Bachelor? Well, ever since I was incredibly young, I was fascinated by aircraft and aerospace in general. And of course, I gave into the temptation to study engineering. However, I did look for and envy a degree that would be a bit more diverse with respect to the disciplines of engineering that are taught, because I didn't exactly want a pure aerospace degree because I felt that would restrict my employment opportunities in the future. I wanted something that would open a few more doors compared to a classical aerospace degree. So I decided to go for the bachelor's program, this very program, because it offers, of course, mechanical and materials engineering as well, which are incredibly interesting fields to study. And yes, that's that. If you have any particular questions that you'd like to ask me about the A-level system, I'd be delighted to answer.
Yeah, Joel. Okay, so the origin of students, we have a second graph below that shows the degree. So surprisingly, the number one origin is not the French bac, it's the international bac. We appreciate very much this international bac course. It's well adapted to this bachelor's program. The French bac, and then we have high school diplomas, mainly from the US, but not only. A-levels, which is the British system, but not necessarily from the UK. Joel, I think, took the A-levels in Sri Lanka, and year 12, which means the equivalent of the Indian bac in terms of degrees. The recruitment, so over the years, we started with very low figures. As you can see, I think we had 8 students the first year. And it's growing. As you can see, we had a little relative minimum in 2020 corresponding to the COVID time. And since then, we have 100+ applicants above the minimum requirements. And we accept, as you remember, a maximum of 44, 45 students, 2 groups of 20, 22 students. That gives the order of magnitude of the cohorts. And after, so here you have a list of various universities where our students, well, from these universities, the students have received offers. That's for 2019-24. So it's ranked by countries. So in Canada, we had offers from British Columbia, Concordia, Ottawa. From the UK, Strathclyde, as you can read. I'm not going to read all of them. Cranfield University, which is the big aerospace university in England. Imperial College, University College London, Heriot-Watt in Scotland. Limerick, Trinity College Dublin. We have 2 students at TCD. University of Twente and Delft, that's the Netherlands. China, Tsinghua, Shanghai, Jiaotong. And then in the Nordic countries, KTH, Aalto, and DTU, or FOGOP DTU, we have somebody in Denmark. In the States, Cornell, Wisconsin, Georgia Tech, Arizona State, University of Colorado, and this year we have somebody who's just been accepted, University of California, San Diego. And in France, we have a wide range of possibilities, including INSA Lyon, the diplôme d'ingénieur, Centrale Supélec, International Masters, ECAM Lyon, Super-Héros. Super-Héros is a great success this year. I think 10 or 15 of our students have already applied, and 10 have been accepted. Okay, so we have a range of possibilities which maybe we didn't anticipate when we started the program, to be honest with you. Approximately 90% of the students, they carry on with further studies, and only 10% enter directly to job market after graduation. And very often American citizen, they work for a couple of years in order to be able to get the money to pay for the master's programs afterwards. More visual representation of this. If you look in terms of universities, the #1 destination for our students is Politecnico di Milano. They have a series of master's programs in English, and it seems to be very popular. And then we have Super-Héros master's programs in France. INSA Lyon, diplôme d'ingénieur. TU Delft, for the masters in aerospace, the masters of Centrale Lyon, ECAM, Cranfield universities. Obviously, we had students who were taken and graduated from Imperial College. We had American universities, Cornell, but it's very much a one-off, or it's a minority for the time being. In terms of countries, interestingly, almost half of our students stay in France after that. I mean, even they were not French, they all come from abroad, basically, but they quite like the place because they're ready to stay. And they learn French. Italy, because of Politecnico di Milano, probably. And then UK, Netherlands, and USA. In terms of specialty for the further studies, you see that we have a pretty good balance between aerospace and mechanical engineering. And a rather substantial, non-negligible fraction of our students, they switch to business and management. So there are also thematic possibilities, or students can change after bachelor's degrees. Materials is rather secondary in terms of possibilities afterwards. Maybe I can ask some of the third year students whether they are planning to go next year. Lucia, can you come and...
Hi again.
Uh, in terms of further studies, I've applied to ETH Zurich for their Masters in Mechanical Engineering. Also, I've been accepted at Supero for their Masters in Aerospace Engineering. And I'm also interested in TU Delft, but I'm waiting to hear back as well. And that's also my Masters in Aerospace Engineering. So that's my plan. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello again. For me, I applied to Supero and also École Centrale Nantes, and I got accepted to both of them. My plan for the future is definitely do a master's, but I'm more inclined towards research. Therefore, I am really thinking about pursuing a PhD in controls and advanced robotics.
Hello again. I have applied and been accepted to INSA Supero. And I will also apply to the GMCIP program here at INSA, which is an apprenticeship program. So it's a work plus study program where you would get a diplôme d'ingénieur in mechanical engineering at the end of the 3 years. And would also work for about half the time in a company, which is very interesting to me because it gives you a lot of work experience. And I will also apply to Central Supélec. And based on my results, I will make the decision. And similar to Clement, I'm also very inclined to pursue a PhD. So I'm looking more towards a research-based program or a research-based company or a lab to do my apprenticeship in.
Hello again. I applied to Concordia in Canada as well as KTH in Stockholm. I have already been accepted into Concordia and I am waiting for an answer from KTH, both in aerospace engineering, as this is what I wanted to continue studying after the bachelor's.
Thank you. So what can be said in terms of further studies is that the students have a range of possibilities. They can switch to business. Somebody was told me this morning he was taken at Politecnico di Milano in management and engineering. So there are interesting possibilities afterwards. Now, if you want to join this fantastic program, you have to apply, and maybe some of you already did. It's possible to apply as of now. I mean, it's open until the end of May, 31st of May, 2025. So the application system is not on Parcoursup for French people. So it's not on Parcoursup, it's specific. You have to visit the website, which is shown here, www.insa-lyon.fr/IBN. And then you will find on the right tabs, you can download the application forms and the list of documents that you have to send us. And then you send everything to the 2 email addresses, which are shown here. We have 2 admission juries. The first one is going to be organized at the beginning of April. And the second one, let's say, end of June. Students who are admitted receive confirmation within 48 hours after the jury. And then they will have to commit themselves by signing a contract, and their parents, or they will have to pay a down payment in order to keep a place in the program. Okay, I think that's the end of my presentation in terms of slides, and obviously we're ready to take questions and try to answer as much as we can, as precisely as we can. Okay, so the questions should be formulated in the chat part of the okay. Okay, the first years, there's a question about the transversal projects. These are group projects. The students were divided in 11 groups of 4 students. So it's a team project. Does the school help with the internship? Yes, the school helps with the internship. We have a database of companies. We know some companies. We can write letters of recommendation if need be. And it's the same for the applications to universities. We try to support our students, but for all that, it remains an exercise, an interesting exercise for the students. They are prepared. We are running preparation classes for job interviews, CVs. We help with the CVs, but definitely, yes, we try to help as much as we can. Okay, evaluation, assessment. So it's a form of continuous assessment. So typically, students in my subjects, for example, they have what they like so much, quizzes, which is a sort of little test at the beginning of the lecture, just to make sure that everybody at least read the lecture notes, and then a midterm and a final. In other subjects, you have a combination of midterm, final, and project. You have variation depending, for example, maths in the second year, you have, I think, 4 different modules. So each module has an assessment technique. Most of the time that combines a written test and a project. What's the difference between BUT and there's a question about the BUT, which is this new degree delivered by EUT in France, and this bachelor's program. They both give the grade licence level, 180 ECTS. The difference is this one is international. It's taught in English. I don't think we have that in EUT. And it's a partnership with universities. Okay, there are possibilities of exchange, but it's really integrated in the program. It's more international. And I think the specialty aerospace, as far as I remember, is not present or very present at the level of BUT. Why isn't it on Parcoursup? Because we don't have the means to deal with hundreds of applications, which most of the time wouldn't be appropriate. We have great difficulties already to deal with the variety of applications coming from the rest of the world. And also because the primary target for this program is not the French audience, it's the international audience. OK. Une question en français sur comment sont sélectionnés les postulants pratiquement exclusivement sur leur niveau scolaire. Alors, la difficulté, bien sûr, c'est de pouvoir mettre en comparaison des résultats issus de systèmes très différents. Donc, on essaie de ne pas être monoculture, donc d'avoir des origines d'étudiants aussi variées que possible. On essaie d'avoir une représentation géographique relativement uniforme. Et on prend donc, il n'y a pas de quota au sens propre du terme, mais on essaie de veiller à ce qu'on n'ait pas 50 étudiants indiens dans le programme ou 50 étudiants français. On veille à une forme de diversité, mais la sélection se fait uniquement sur les résultats scolaires. On demande aussi des lettres de recommandation et qui parfois nous éclairent dans notre jugement. Pour ce qui sait lire à travers les lignes, parfois c'est riche d'informations. J'espère avoir répondu à votre question. Okay, so There's a question about the dose of aerospace in the program over the 3 years, if I understand rightly the question. It's a little bit difficult to answer this, but I think aerospace is becoming very present as of year 2 and very, very present in year 3. But as you can see, with the transversal project in year 1, there's already a component of aerospace. Most of the projects around aerospace-related technologies, okay, it's at a simple level, but it's already not. Mechanics, the module of mechanics, we deal with examples, or we can deal with examples related to aerospace. Mechanical design, same. Electrical engineering, there's something about the more electric airplane. And progressively, those who go to Strathclyde, they have aero design, they have space flight. Those at Twente, fluid mechanics can be also oriented towards aerospace. Mechatronics is also something important in aerospace. So aerospace is rather big, actually. It's wide in terms of coverage. It's rather present. Somebody who will find an internship at Airbus will have something which is really aerospace related. It depends also so it depends on the student's motivation. Okay, so A-levels, it's true that results of A-levels are known in August, I think. So after the final jury, so we base our decisions on predicted grades. And the offers are unconditional. If we say we take you, even if the final grades are a little bit disappointing compared with the predicted grades. It seems to be always this way, very often this way, let's say. Okay, all the bachelor students are guaranteed a room on campus, not just the first years. So INSA Lyon is a campus university. It's rather big. We have halls of residence. We have canteens. There's students association. We have 130 different clubs, and some of the students here are members of clubs. To recall that Alex is in the rugby club, and we had students in the rocket club, of course. So yes, the students are guaranteed a room on campus. You can eat on campus. You can obviously work on campus. You can sleep on campus for the 3 years. Okay, EPFL Lausanne. Do we have? Okay, never. I mean, some students tried, but they haven't been taken. So my feeling is that EPFL doesn't want our students. We had students taken at ETH Zurich, but not EPFL. So the open day was last weekend for INSA Lyon, and we felt that it was more interesting for us to be apart from the mainstream open day mainstream, because the vast majority of the students here are not bachelor students. I mean, they're students from the French engineering system, the 5-year program. So we don't have the possibility to organize open days, but what we can do is, and I think we've already started, is if you are interested, you contact us at the IBNG email address that you can see here, and we can take the time to organize visits. We can even incorporate pupils to the classes, so that they can actually see what it's like to be in the bachelor's program in a mechanics class, for example. Ne demandons pas de notes prédictives pour le bac français. Nous regardons très joigneusement les bulletins de seconde, 3 bulletins de seconde, 3 bulletins de première et 3, alors ça dépend si c'est organisé en semestre ou en trimestre pour terminale. Mais donc, il n'y a pas de concept de notes prédictives ou prédictes pour les bacs français. Alors, pour les bacs français, les statistiques montrent que 100% des personnes qui sont recrutées dans le bachelor ont eu une mention minimum bien au bac. Mais ça, on le sait après coup, puisque les résultats du bac sont connus éventuellement après. Okay, there's a question about, if I formulate this bluntly, do we have some exchanges between the students in this program and the regular students in the engineering program at INSA Lyon? Or in other words, yes, the bachelor's is not a ghetto. Students, they have a series of classes which are common. Humanities, for example, for the students who speak a little bit of French, they are mixed up with the standard French students in the language classes, in non-scientific options. We push for the students to be in clubs and associations where they can meet their counterparts in the standard programs. And I don't have the impression that students are complaining or suffering from isolation from the rest of the students. And sport is also extremely important. Sport is an activity, part of the timetable. The students are mixed up with other students from the various years. And some of them are practicing in the sport association. So it's a very good vector of integration. So we don't feel there is a ghetto for the bachelors or bachelor students. Okay, how about the students who carry on with the INSA Diplôme d'Ingénieur after the bachelor's? So we had so far quite a few results. Actually, the first semester, there are two situations. Those who do apprenticeship and those who do the classic program. Those who do the classic program, they seem to suffer for the first semester in the department, but they suffer in maths because we do maths for engineering. It's a different spirit. But once they manage to go through the first semester, they usually do very, very well. Those who chose apprenticeship so far, they do really well. And I think some stage the first ranked in the apprenticeship in mechanical engineering was a former student from the bachelor's program. So overall, they do okay. But maths is a little bit difficult to begin with. There was a question about the BFE, Baccalauréat Français International. Yes, which was the OIB beforehand. Yes, students who follow this particular program, they don't have to prove their level of English. It's okay. Okay, there's a question about the French level that is required for the students to have access to the other foreign language or non-scientific option classes. This is in the hands of our French department, but I would say this is something around B1 plus. With a B1 plus, B1, B2 level, our students will have perhaps 2 hours of French as a foreign language per week, and then the remaining 4 hours could be a foreign language, it could be sport, it could be a non-scientific option. Une question en français sur si le dossier est refusé en avril, peut-il être représenté en juillet? La question ne va pas se poser vraiment parce que ce qui va se passer, c'est on examine on a tendance à examiner en avril les dossiers qui nous paraissent intéressants, je dirais à fort potentiel. Donc, s'il y a un dossier qu'on examine en avril et qu'on a quelques éléments de doute, automatiquement, on ne va pas refuser le dossier, mais on va dire qu'on l'examinera en juillet, peut-être à la lumière de résultats complémentaires ou pas. Ça va dépendre ensuite des réponses qu'on a à nos offres d'admission et du flot global de candidatures. Et chaque année est différente parce que le nombre de candidatures est quelque chose que l'on ne maîtrise pas. Au jour d'aujourd'hui, nous avons plus de candidatures cette année que l'an dernier, donc, et de façon assez nette. Donc, on ne sait pas trop. Voilà. Mais en avril, il n'y a pas vraiment de refus, sauf vraiment si c'est un dossier qui n'est pas dans les minimums requis. On a beau mettre des minimums requis, parfois on a des candidatures assez nettement en dessous. OK. I think we have more or less finished. Any further questions? There's a question of how could I pay the application fees? It's a perennial problem. You have to use a bank transfer. We don't take cards. I mean, the INSA administration cannot accept cards. I mean, which is a pity, but you have to use a bank transfer. Okay, so I think it's time to stop. Thank you very much for the participants. I would like to thank the students. They were great. And don't hesitate to contact us if you have further questions. And this will be and has been recorded and will be available on the website. A replay will be available on the website. No problem. Thank you very much. And have a good night, a good evening, or good morning, depending on the time zone. Okay. Goodbye.